Bitcoin crosses $50,000 for the first time since we started dropping after the big run up in 2021. CleanSpark is on fire. Marathon Digital is also blasting off. We have basically all the miners were just through the roof today. It was an amazing day if you were in the miners. I had a fantastic day today. So welcome back, traders. Let's talk about what's happening here. I'm specifically going to focus on Bitcoin for a bit and CleanSpark. So right now we are over $50,000 on Bitcoin, and this is correlating very nicely with the Lunar New Year run-up, being the third day of that festival. Now you can see that since it began, which as I mentioned in my last video would have been February 9th on my chart, which was down here, we're at 45,000. So we've gone up a good $5,000 on Bitcoin in just since that began. And this is only the beginning. This goes on for another almost 2 weeks from today. This is going on. So it could get higher. We are in overbought territory on the RSI. On the VIX fix, we are also making extreme lows on that. You can see this bar is almost completely not visible at all down there. I don't even know what that's at. What's that at? It's like at a, oh, it's registering as not even a 1. That's how small that is. So we are severely overbought right now. However, if you look at Bitcoin, the last time we got overbought, like right now we are overbought on the weekly, but the last time we got overbought on the weekly, that's a much bigger time frame, we were all the way down here at 34,000, and we stayed up there for 7, almost 8 weeks. And even as RSI started coming down, price still climbed up to nearly where it currently is right now. So this can go on for weeks. We can be overbought for weeks. This could just be another bull flag into the next leg, which honestly, if we get enough momentum out of this Lunar New Year run up that we're doing right now, if that is what is really going on, we could easily take out the highs here while in overbought conditions. Like that could happen. But that is ultra bullish. And I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but it could happen pretty easily and pretty fast, especially since there's very little resistance up here. The only real resistance in our way right now is going to be about right here, which is not that far above us. It's going to be about right here between 55 and 59,000. Above that, we're hitting that high. And if we can do that before the halving, that would be insane. That would send us into just an absolute FOMO situation. Just the market would be very frothy at that point, and I'm not exactly sure what to expect if that were to happen, because that is not the game plan. I'd be very excited about it, but that is not the game plan, and I would be a little bit concerned, a little confused about what exactly I should be doing given those conditions, because I did not expect them. So let's hope for that, because I assume I'll be making a ridiculous amount of money if that happens. And I'll definitely take some profit off the table if that is what does occur. But I'll definitely be concerned about it, and I'll definitely be talking about it if it does. So that's Bitcoin right now. We're overbought, but we could go higher. I would expect, based on the indicators and the fact that this inverse head and shoulders here is completely played out, I would guess that there will be some sort of like turnover, maybe a retest of this high down here at this regional local high at 49,000 before continuing further. I would expect something like that to happen. If we look here, we are outside of the Bollinger Band right now. Like we're outside of it. This white line, that's the Bollinger Band, and we are past it right now. And the 5-day is all the way down at 48,000. So I would expect some sort of retest of at least the 5-day EMA soon, even if it's just for a short period of time. If I really want to see some momentum pick up, I would want to see liquidity get built up until we touch the 15 again. Kind of like when we did this move here on January 23rd until January 29th, where we got this liquidity build all the way up until February 6th, where we nearly touched, the 15, and then from there was just launched off. That's a liquidity build I want to see to go even higher. But I mean, we could just launch from here too. That is absolutely within the cards. But I am expecting a bit of a turnover, a little bit of a drop, and then further rocket thrusters into just deep space at this point. Let's go and take a look at CleanSpark. CleanSpark is blowing my mind, honestly. It is absolutely mind-blowing for me right now. What I'm seeing on the CleanSpark charts, what I'm seeing in my account with CleanSpark is quite amazing. I'm up over 100% on my CleanSpark shares right now. I bought some calls in this handle here that I was talking about, and I sold those for fantastic profit. I mean, I sold those for fantastic profit down here at $13. Today it ran up to $16. I did miss out on some profit because I took it early, but that's okay. Not going to be too sad about that. But if you look at my channel here on, let's see, what was this? January 15th, I said CleanSpark to $6. January 15th. Which day was that? 13th. It was in between the 12th and the 16th, so that would have been over the weekend here. So my only information would have been at this level here at 821, at $8.21 ish. I was saying that CleanSpark was going to go down to about $6. And what happened in the subsequent days, it started falling, falling, falling. It got all the way down to about 640. Now that isn't $6, but it's much closer to $6 than 820 is to $6. And that's where I was buying a lot. And I mentioned that on the channel. I was buying down here, and this is where I was accumulating. And then I started again talking about it once more when I came up here on the floodgates are open on January 26th. That's where I started talking about these cup and handles and how I was seeing that starting to form in between on this Friday here when we had like this candle here, and I was saying there might be a cup and handle forming here, right? I was expecting some sort of handle to start forming down. It did go another day, another trading day up before that handle started forming. And as that handle formed, I said this looks very much like a cup and handle. And if we get a break out of this handle, we're going to see something pretty amazing. And I was loading up shares in there. I was just loading up. I hundreds of shares, several call options. I was going for it on CleanSpark because this looked real good. Anyways, and now this look where we are. We're up here. So what do I see now? What do I see now? And I mean, I'm not trying to just brag about like how I've been calling CleanSpark. It's just I'm very happy about it. I'm pretty proud of that analysis. This is one that I saw, I executed on, and it's been going super well. And I hope that if you are also in this, that it's been going super well for you as well. Not that this is any sort of financial advice, nor a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. It's only what I'm doing with my portfolio and what I'm seeing when I look at the charts. But I'm just very excited to have been correct about this, and that I'm learning the charts, seeing using the indicators properly, seeing proper patterns in it forming and making decisions based on that, and it's working out. And I've been pretty happy about that thus far. It's been quite lucrative since I've been doing this. So I'm very happy. I'm just very excited about it today. This is just such a good move, such a good day, such a good couple of days, honestly. So what's going to happen here? So we're a bit in uncharted territories here. We've not done a big high like this. Like I was not expecting to take out this high here at 1350. I was not expecting that to happen. I thought we might meet that high. Did not think we were going to go past it. That is just nuts to me that this is where we are right now. We are currently in pretty overbought conditions. We're at a 95 on the RSI. That's nuts. And as I said before, we can stay overbought for quite a while. Like we can. I don't think I'm buying shares when we're overbought that badly, but we can stay over it. We can recover RSI to a good level just by being flat. Like you look back here from December 4th to December 13th when we got that nice pop up there. This was basically flat action that entire time, and we came down to a 50 RSI before moving way up, going from 870 to 1350. I mean, that's not a 100% move, but it's like a 70% move. Just with flat price action for a week and then RSI, recovering a bit and then taking off again. So yeah, price doesn't need to come down to get back into a buy zone. We just need to see the momentum indicators cool off enough to feel as though there is room to move up again, at least for me. So I'm not necessarily buying up here, but I am watching it very closely because it might prove, the chart can prove that it deserves to be up there. And if the price deserves to be up there, well, then I am buying up there. So I'm just waiting for that confirmation. Currently, though, I am expecting this move here to give back, anywhere between 10 to 15% of that move, which would be, $2, $3, so maybe $13, like this line down here. I am expecting a retest of this high at some point. That's what I am looking for. Doesn't mean that it will happen. It just means that if it does, I'll probably be buying some shares. So let's have a look see here. And honestly, some call options. We are way outside the Bollinger Band. Holy, we are not even touching it. we just we just left it in the dust. We were like, we don't need Bollinger Bands here. Nothing but a cage. Oh, that is nuts. I have not seen price that far outside of the Bollinger Band in a while. That is nuts. The 5-day EMA is all the way down, or SMA is all the way down at $11.31. Now this can pick up quick. In like 2 or 3 days, this 5-day can be all the way up at $13. So like don't let that fool you into thinking price needs to come back down to 11.40 or 11.30 or whatever I just said. Because 2 or 3 days of price being elevated like this, that 5-day will be right up here at 13 in no time. The thing that I am watching for right now, what I am watching for right now is this yellow line to cross this orange line and give me a little green dot, much like this red dot, but green, like down here, this green dot. The thing I've noticed with this indicator, and I didn't intend it to be this way, I've just noticed it, is that whenever you see a red dot, I've often noticed that that has marked that the bottom is in it, either is in behind it or is coming very soon. And the opposite I've noticed is true with the green dots. I should probably change their colors. That the green dots here, like this one, often indicate either a top is in or is coming soon. Uh, not always. That's not always true, but it has been pretty common on the chart. Like even right here, like we got a little bounce after that red candle came in. I mean, we continued down, but that red dot indicated a little and then came down. This green one, reversal. Not always though. That's not a definitive thing. Like right here, got a green dot, went up higher. Not always the case, right? But that also came right after a red dot, so I wouldn't trust that one anyways. You got to learn to read your indicators and kind of like uh, trust your feeling about how the indicator, what it's telling you. Like right here, I would have said that was probably me indicating a bottom was in, mostly because the RSI showed a bottom was in, and so did the VIX fix with these green bars here. So I would have said, yeah, that's probably where a bottom came in, and then I would have bought in there, and I did buy in there, and it went up, right? So if I get a green one here with overbought RSI and a really low VIX fix over here, like a really low gray bars on the VIX fix here, if I get a green dot with that, I'm probably going to feel as though a top was put in, a local top, not like we're going to crash the floor or anything, but a correction is incoming, is what I would expect if I see that coming in soon. Have we seen this before? Kind of. Let me go back to the previous halving, which I've got marked here with this dashed line here, with that dotted line. Excuse me, it's not a dash, it's a dotted line. That was the last halving. Leading into the halving, it was what? A month before it, because it happened in May last time, but a month before it, we had this big, huge run up from $1 all the way up to $4. Jesus, more than a 4x return before it gave almost all of it back, like 80% of it back down to $2. And then we had another run up to 457, which would have been another, three bagger. And that came and gave back, 80% of that back down to $2. So 60% of that back down to $2 before the halving, and then the halving had a little dip before another rip, and then another 30% back before June of that year, where we just took off from there. So these times can get pretty volatile. We could see huge swings up as well as giving it all back at the same time. That can definitely happen. And last time, where was the new year? The new year was actually in January last time. 2020. Uh, let's see. Let's type it in. I'll edit this out. What was the date? January 21st. January 21st. Right here. Right here. January 21st. And usually it's a 2-week break, so January 21st until 31st, February 4th, 3rd. There we go. That's about, we can expect that little area right there. So what happened in there? This is the last, this is the Lunar New Year before the last halving, right? So we initially got what, 1, 2, 3 days of big momentum up, and then a sell-off from there, a pretty decisive sell-off from there before recovering. So let me have a look at this indicator. How's that looking? Nothing too special. So what have we been getting? What have we been getting here? Now, CleanSpark might not react the same way as it did before, but we are in a very volatile time. We do have factors at play, such as Lunar New Year, such as halving, lots of stuff going on. We got a new Bitcoin ETF that's injecting funds, like everything's crazy. So what'd that look like? So we started here on this day, 1, 2, maybe one more day of buying before we start seeing, I don't know, the 30, 40% drop, possibly up to 60%, which if we're at, $17, you'd be looking at returning to $8, $7, $8, which would be this line down here. Well, that's 9. That'd be the center of this line. No, not the center. About the top of the cup here. 9, $8, if that happened. That could happen. That's within range of this thing because it's so volatile. It's so crazy. But CleanSpark, as I mentioned earlier, CleanSpark is up over 100% since I started talking about it. I started talking about it initially saying it was going to go down to $6, and that's when I was looking to pick it up, and that was January 15th. Yep, January 15th. Now let's go to January 15th, which would have been the 12th was the last one, so the first trading day, January 16th. Since then, up 109%. And I'm actually up, I think, a little bit more than that because I've been buying that whole time at the lows, and I kind of stopped on the way up when I started seeing it move uh, up into that handle. Like as the handle started seeming to come to a close, I started getting out of adding more. But wow, up 109% since I started talking about it. How about January 26th? This is where I said the handle, when I started talking about the handle. Since I started talking about that handle, we're up 99.8%. So this has been an absolute home run with picking CleanSpark, talking about CleanSpark. The timing on CleanSpark has been just absolute home run after home run the last couple of weeks on that. So going forward, I'm just monitoring this right now. I honestly don't know what it's going to do. I think we might see one more day of slight green, and we're going to start watching this want to curl over. In fact, if I look at, let's go into the 30-minute chart. And as you can see, even on the 30-minute chart, so this is where we took off. Yeah, Friday, Monday the 12th. So this is where we started taking off. And if we do one of these, you can see we're just right in that channel now, aren't we? That's it. So I'm going to leave this on here. I'm leaving this on here. When price breaks beneath this channel on the 30-minute or the 1 hour or what have you, a higher time frame like that, I'm going to expect this thing to come back down to $13. That's what I think is going to happen. Honestly, I can see this making a head and shoulders and coming back down to this level here and getting caught up in, let me move my chart around, getting caught back up in this resistance right here before eventually maybe doing like a wick down to here. A wick down to here, and then maybe a bounce back up into these higher valuations from there. That's what I'm expecting. And I'll leave this on the chart here. Now, I could be wrong, and I'm absolutely willing and happy to admit when I am wrong about these things. In fact, I mean, I own a lot of shares of CleanSpark. I'm very happy to be wrong about this, but I'm not buying more when I see potential for downside. So I'm going to leave this on my chart. I'm going to leave this one on my chart. In fact, I'm going to put a nice big arrow right here. If we get here, we're going up. All right. And if we go below here, we're going down. And we're going to make this one, we're going to choose red for this one. And there we go. Those are staying right there. I'm going to leave these on the chart. I'm going to lock them down. And we're just going to see what happens. Now, like I said, it has to break out of this channel. If it doesn't break out of this channel, in fact, if price goes to the top side of this channel and breaks out, then we're going way higher. Like 20 is within reach if we break out of this upward channel here. And that would be the complete opposite case of what I just mentioned, and it totally could happen. But right now, with what I'm seeing on the chart, what I'm looking at, it feels like price probably wants to come down more than it wants to go up right now. And that's probably reflected on a lot of the other miners right now. I know I've been talking for a while, so we'll try to do this fast. Yeah. Same sort of thing looking on Mara. Mara is also in big overbought territory. There's lots of big gaps on its chart. It is gunning for those highs from December here at $31. I mean, this could totally do it. Honestly, it could do it. I don't know if it will, because if you notice right here, we just got outside of that upward channel here. I think price is probably going to want to gravitate back into this channel here. Let's take a look at Bitfarms. They also had a big move today. They were up 12.87%. We're also looking at those highs of 357 to try to touch those. We are solidly outside of its upward channel here right now. Will it come back to it? I don't know. Let's have a look. See, we're way outside of the Bollinger on this one too. The 5 days all the way down at 247 is about to cross over the 50-day SMA. Wild. Let's see. What about Bit Digital? Bit Digital. I was talking about this double bottom right here. It confirmed above that double bottom. I see Bit Digital potentially having more bullish momentum than some of the others since it already did this big liquidity sweep, like a much bigger liquidity build than the others. I believe Hut also did one like this too. I think we're going to probably see this one do a little bit more of an aggressive move, maybe even up to the $4 mark, possibly even try to make a run for the 440, 450 in the center of this upward channel here before it's done, making its run up. I mean, it's barely touching oversold territory, whereas CleanSpark, Mara, Bitfarms were like severely in oversold territory. And it's doing that big double bottom. We might retest the top of this double bottom here at $3 and use that as a launch pad to go way up here. But Bit Digital still got some gas left in the tank, I think. Let's see what Cypher's looking like too. Cypher, honestly, same thing as Bit Digital. Did this deep liquidity build here, springboard, boom, took off. I think we might touch the top of this upward ascending channel here and then keep going up, and we might gun for 440, 450-ish, maybe even $5 again on Cypher. What about Hut? Hut, yeah, this one's also lagging a little bit behind the others, honestly, by a large margin. It had this big liquidity build here, then that launch pad up. We are in a steep parabolic move right now. We have not gotten past and held past the midpoint of the double bottom, which is right here. Let me draw it here. We got the one bottom, second bottom, and this right here is the line for it. It's got to cross that midline and hold above it. So this one hasn't confirmed yet. This could reject here, and if it does, we'll see ourselves build more liquidity back down to the bottom of this channel before moving up again for Hut. So Hut doesn't look as good as some of the others in terms of its bullish momentum and bullish outlook right now, especially compared to Bit Digital and Cypher that have extremely similar charts. And then you've got Mara, CleanSpark, and Bitfarms, and those three have severely similar charts. So they're kind of working on their same path there based on that. Anyways, so that's the update for today. Stuff is crazy. Charts are bullish. Um, you know, be cautious, make smart decisions. Of course, do your own research. This is not financial advice in any way. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel more than you could possibly imagine. Thank you so much for watching and have a profitable day.